Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. And then I want to go back to YouTube and I want lo-fi. Okay. Hi. Hi, y'all. Hi, 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 hi. Hi. I know it's been a while. I know we've been kind of just posting our short videos and stuff. I've been just trying to enjoy as much of life as I can before the really bad stuff starts happening. Like I said, I think we're on a collision course for some sort of altercation between the government and the people. And I think that in November he's gonna do something so outrageous and so terrible for the USA that we are going to have to take to the street. We'll have more than 8 million people take to the streets. That's for sure. Yeah, 8 million was the last No Kings protest, by the way. But people just can't afford shit. People can't live. We're not in a place where people can afford a home. A new car costs $50,000. $50,000. Even me, who is in a successful position, who has worked for 10, 12 years in the field that I've uh, made my career. A $50,000 car, that's like 70% of my wages right there. Um, I bought groceries today. It's like $60 for bananas, cherries, ice, sweet tea, lemonade, um, granola bars. Uh, what else did I get? A bread, peanut butter and jelly. All right, and to those fucking assholes out there, like, what really got me pissed off this week, what really got me like, fuck you guys, is these cucks. These cucks for billionaires who are saying, y'all just don't need to be spending money on lunch. Y'all need to make a fucking PB&J. All right, first of all, I love me some PB&Js, okay? So I will make one just because I enjoy it. But to expect people to just make a fucking PB&J for lunch every single day, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck your mother. Fuck everybody who taught you that peasants deserve just a PB&J sandwich, okay? No, we deserve more, all right? We do not need to live on PB&Js. If you have a society that lives on PB&J, you don't have a functioning society. If all they can afford is boiled potatoes, you don't have a functioning society. Our system is a capitalist system. If everybody is at home eating PB&J sandwiches, nobody is eating in restaurants. Nobody can eat at restaurants. No money is taken in at the restaurants. If there's no money at the restaurants, then they can't pay their employees. And then we have more unemployment. You see how that fucking cycle works? Fucking hell. So yeah, I mean, this is what sparked it. It's just like this fucking asshole billionaire who literally employs people who are can't afford rent, who are on food stamps, SNAP, and just are not living a life. They have no access to the American dream. The American dream is outside the realms of possibilities for them because of these fucking billionaires. And you know what these billionaires want to do? They want to get rid of them. They want to say, fuck them. I don't even want to pay them fucking poverty wages. I want to buy a robot and never have to pay that motherfucker again. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Hey, here we go. Let's get into it.
Billionaire Jeff Bezos decided to talk to CNBC, and all I have to say is this was a tremendous mistake. Okay, like this is just a horrible idea, because these billionaires don't realize, like, bro, literally everybody hates you. People caught on to it. You know, there was a time when Republicans were successful in convincing working people that, hey, the real problem is the immigrants and the black people and the trans people and the Muslims and the this and the that. And that divide and conquer is not working anymore. People are beginning to look up. They're beginning to look at the billionaires for being the ultimate cause of all the economic problems, because we basically have Gilded Age income and wealth inequality, and people aren't given a fair shake. We need to raise your fucking taxes, and we need to redistribute that money, give people a chance at the American dream, give people healthcare, give people education, give people higher wages, give people paid time off by law. I mean, this stuff is like very basic shit. People are catching on.
Basic stuff that many fucking countries of our stature give to their people. Like, basic, just giving people 8 weeks to spend with their newborn. Giving people 8 weeks to spend with their family that's just been diagnosed with cancer, you know, and started chemotherapy. Giving people wages, yeah, like let's just part of my plan is raising the minimum wage over a 10-year period so it can match inflation, and then after that, just making it go up with inflation. If you don't want inflation to go up, then if you don't want wages to go up, then don't let inflation go up. See, it fucking works.
And so, I guess he's trying to do a little cleanup job here. Now, a couple things right off the bat. Notice, just like Joe Rogan, he's had a little bit too much testosterone replacement therapy. A little too many steroids, too much HGH, and he's beginning to look like a flat-out different person. And you could see that in his face. That's point number one. Point number two is, man, he must be so deep in that bubble and surrounded by yes men that nobody around him was like, hey, man, you really shouldn't be saying these things. This is going to lead to a revolt. So here we go. Let's start with this clip right here where he talks about Trump and how, Trump he's become more wise with as the years go on here. Watch this.
When I last interviewed you, it was about 2 years ago.
By the way, it's awesome how, like, there's apparently a fucking jet engine in the background when you're live on TV. Really good planning. Good place to shoot this, to shoot this interview. Good idea.
President Trump had just won. He was not the president yet. And I had asked you what you thought of him at the time. And you said that you thought that he had mellowed, that he was calmer.
Yeah.
And I'm curious now, here we are.
Yeah, I still think that.
2 years later, we've had lots of we have wars and tariffs and all sorts of things that have happened since then. What do you think?
I think he has. I mean, I'm comparing him to his first term.
Yeah.
And I think he is a more mature, more disciplined version of himself than he was in his first term.
That is literally the...
They know the more they tickle his balls, the better deals they get, the more contracts they get, the more money they get in their pocket. Like, Trump is legit using the federal government to enrich all of his friends, to enrich all of his fucking allies. Like, we are literally looking at the most corrupt administration in the world. They are creating a almost $2 billion fund to settle with anybody who they say was wronged by the Biden administration, charging them federally with federal crimes. Trump's kids are getting government contracts all willy-nilly. Kristi Noem, she was making contracts with warehouse owners, selling or buying the warehouses for concentration camps over market value. Tim Duffy, Pete Duffy, whatever his fucking name is, the Secretary of Transportation, went on a road trip across America with his family, paid for by Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Chevy, Ford. Like, He didn't have to pay for it. He got a 6 months vacation. Like, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them, fuck them. I want them in jail.
Dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. He knows he's lying. Everybody knows he's lying. Because in his first term, Trump was at least surrounded by some people who were adults to one extent or another. And, they would make sure that when Trump's like, let's shoot protesters in the leg, they'd be like, no, sir, let's not actually do that. That's kind of illegal and not okay. I want to invoke the Insurrection Act. Let's do that. Let's invoke. And they're like, no, sir, we actually don't deploy the U.S. military against our own people in our own streets. Thank you very much. There were so many instances like that where, Trump wanted to do tariffs in the first term. And who was it? Gary Cohn, I believe, was like, yeah, here's why we can't do that. Let me walk you through why this makes no economic sense and it'll fuck everything up. Now, I mean, he's surrounded by sycophants and yes men and the worst people in the country. And so now he's like, let's do another 7 wars. I love wars. Let's bomb more people. Let's steal all the oil and the gold from Venezuela. I love that. Let's carpet bomb a girls' school in Iran. Let's do 17 different massively corrupt schemes where I rob the American people. Let's do all that. And here's Jeff Bezos. Slurp City, son. Slurp City going, oh, he's actually more mature. He's actually kind of brilliant. He's actually a genius. He actually has slimmed down quite a bit. His dick is looking mighty thick these days, bro. I mean, he's got a big old schlong. That guy right there, that's a special guy right there. Oh, my word. The way Capital always fucking caves to the fact.
Bro, and there is a poll on if you think you could beat up the president. Hypothetically, FBI watching my shit. If you could beat up the president, the fucking cucks of the Republican Party, the ones who like to tickle Trump's balls, like Jeff Bezos, they all say, "Oh no, President Trump could take me." Fucking liberal women, they're like, "I could fuck up Trump." They're like 80%. Put me in a ring and I will put that old man to bed. Please. That's actually one of the reasons I started working out. It was like, if some liberal ass bad bitches can beat up the president, I for sure need to be able to fucking beat up the president. Hypothetically, FBI, if we ever, at a UFC match in front of the White House and I get dropped in, parachute in into this, WWE style. Well, brothers, I came here to drink margaritas and kick some president ass, and I'm all out of margaritas.
Fascist is so disturbing. So disturbing. It doesn't matter what Trump does. To keep getting the tax cuts, to keep getting the subsidies, to keep getting the favorable contracts, he will always slurp them nuts from the back, bro. That's what he will do, and he'll continue.
And so he's again. I've worked with all the presidents. I will work with all the presidents. And I hope to do that going forward if they'll have me. But we need our business leaders to provide input into the administration.
No, what you and the business leaders have done is you've cucked yourselves to a fascist. That's what you've done. So you can keep getting those tax cuts and those subsidies and those contracts, and you're engaging in the corruption because you know that that's the game that Trump likes to play.
Regardless of who the president is. I'm not on the side. Yep. You know what? I'm on the side of America.
Very pro-America of you to slurp the fascists from the back. Very pro-America of you. As this guy loots the treasury and destroys the country and collapses the economy and blows up all sorts of civilian infrastructure all over the world and ruins all of our alliances. Very pro-America of you to sit there and be like, oh yeah, right on. I love America. Fuck you. God, billionaires are so fucking disgusting.
And that is so important. And that's where business leaders should be. It's just,
and you think they're not?
I think we are, but we get perceived as being partisan or whatever. I was helping Obama every chance I could.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Policy doesn't matter to you unless it affects your bottom line, right? So they don't care. If there's a kill all trans people bill tomorrow, you wouldn't say dick. You wouldn't say shit, would you? You wouldn't say anything.
Right.
Why? Because again, if I speak out against it, maybe he'll take away my subsidies. So you're a bitch. That's what you are. You're a bitch. No matter how much TRT you take, doesn't change the fact they got some baby nuts, son.
Helping Biden every chance I could. I still call Obama for advice. He's a very smart guy. And, and by the way, people that are Trump has lots of good ideas, and he's been right about a lot of things. You have to give him credit where credit is due.
Oh, you see how these people are hacks? Do you understand it? After watching this, you should never, ever, 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 ever again make the mistake of saying like, oh, wealthy people have to be smart. They have to be intelligent. So you could tell he's also just trying to convince himself there that he's right. All right, now let's go to this one. Here's where he goes like, bro, don't be crazy. You want me to pay more taxes, bro? You want me to pay more taxes? Bro, that's like crazy, bro. Here, listen to it.
And Elizabeth Warren has made this point repeatedly. I think she's made it in reference to you and others, are able to pay a lower tax rate, even though you're paying an enormous sum in taxes. A lower tax rate than maybe I am,
These people sometimes...
Watch this. Right here. And this is everybody's point. Warren Buffett even came out and said it a long time ago. Warren Buffett has been saying, he's like, I pay a lower tax rate than my fucking secretary. My secretary pays like 30% tax rate or whatever. I'm paying like a 14% tax rate. That's not fair. All right, we should at least be equal in amount of tax rates that we pay. And a lot of people point out that the highest earners make up like 40% of the total taxes. It's like, okay, and they're still not paying their fair share. Like, we still pay our fair share, but they're not, and they still have money left over. Are you fucking stupid? Here he's gonna say some another bullshit like that too. He's like, yo, let's just even out the fuck. If I'm paying 30 fucking percent, you should pay 30 fucking percent too. Like, what the fuck you mean? You pay 14%. Let me rewind it right here, but yeah.
In taxes, a lower tax rate than maybe I am.
These people sometimes say that I don't pay taxes. That's not true. I pay billions.
It's not what he said. That's not what he said. Let's go back. Let's run it back. What did you say, Mr. Timu Bond?
A lower tax rate than maybe I am.
You want me to pay more taxes? Bro, that's like crazy, bro. Here, listen to it.
And Elizabeth Warren has made this point repeatedly. I think she's made it in reference to you and others, are able to pay a lower tax rate, even though you're paying an enormous sum in taxes. A lower tax rate than maybe I am.
These people sometimes say that I don't pay taxes. That's not true. I pay billions of dollars in taxes. And it's a perfect, again, if people want me to pay more billions,
right,
then let's have that debate.
Yes.
But don't pretend.
Literally, that's what we want to do right now. That's the conversation. It's like, they have hundreds of billions of dollars, hoarding wealth, underpaying their employees. If he paid his employees a livable wage in every single fucking state, nobody would be like, people would be like, no, he does enough for the community. The community is better off with his fucking companies in there. Okay, and he's also another one of the motherfuckers who's trying to replace all of his employees with robots, with AI robots. Like, fuck this fucker. Look, and he's like, oh yeah, I pay zero. No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. What he said was, you pay a lower tax rate than even me. Why is that fair?
And that's going to solve the problem. You could double the taxes I pay, and it's not going to help that teacher in Queens. I promise you.
They think you're dumb. They think you're fucking dumb. My friend is a fucking teacher. My friend is a teacher, and I have actually lots of friends who are teachers. But my special friend, is a teacher, and they had their graduation. She's like kinder teacher, all right, and they had their like graduation this week, and the school didn't have funds to have like any food or drinks items for the parents and the kids to celebrate their graduation. So the you could either get a corporate sponsor or pay for yourself as a fucking teacher, okay? Like making these teachers, I'm pretty sure this is Kyle USD, okay? Kyle USD paying for a kindergarten graduation food for their kids. Like, all right, you're telling me that paying that teacher $75,000, that paying for those kids' graduation food, you're telling me that's not gonna make their lives better? You're not gonna tell me that they're not gonna be better teachers if they don't have to worry about paying for their the kids' graduation meals? If they don't have to worry about, you know, their bills? If they don't have to worry about grocery prices being sky high or gas prices going up? You're telling me that their life isn't going to be better. It's not going to help them teach better if they don't have to worry financially. They think you are dumb. They think that you are okay with living off peanut butter and jelly sandwiches while they have lobster, caviar, steak. Oh my god, pork loin. Actually, pork loin isn't even that expensive. Anyways, all the meats. Actually, Costco just came out and said people aren't even buying meats anymore. They're buying canned meats because they can't afford fucking pork chops. Fucking hell. Oh, these people think you are dumb. They want you to stay dumb. They want you to eat PB&Js. And they don't want you to notice how they don't pay their fair share.
That's total bullshit. That's one of the biggest lies I've ever heard. That is exactly who it would help. That's point number one. Point number two is, well, I pay taxes, bro. First of all, why are you being so defensive? Is it because you don't actually pay taxes? I looked it up. ProPublica actually did a big piece on this not that long ago, in 2021. His effective tax rate, his true tax rate, that's what an effective rate is, his true tax rate, 0.98%. He doesn't even pay 1%. Whereas you and me, like suckers, are paying, I don't even know my exact rate, but 30, 35, something like that. When you include the state, probably goes up even more. So I'm here doing my patriotic duty. You're out there doing your patriotic duty. I don't have a team of lawyers. I don't have a team of fucking experts to find 78 loopholes so I can get away with paying nothing, right? Nor do I even think that's moral or ethical to do. He pays 0.98%. Oh, definitely don't raise my taxes. That'd be a horrible idea. It'd be a terrible idea to raise my taxes. What, you think you're going to help teachers by raising my taxes? It definitely wouldn't help the teachers. It definitely wouldn't help the teachers. It absolutely 100% would help the teachers, you disgusting, roided out bitch. By the way, shout out to Warren Gunnels. He says, Bernie's 5% wealth tax would raise starting teacher pay to $60,000. So you're already wrong. Don't think, oh, it's not going to help teachers. It literally is going to help teachers. It literally is going to help teachers. It would give $12,000 to a working family of 4. It would expand Medicare for dental, vision, and hearing. It would guarantee universal child care, and it would end homelessness. Okay? And what does Warren Gunnell say? Bezos would see his wealth drop from $279 billion to $265 billion. Poor guy.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine how much of a demon you have to be? How fucking evil and satanic you
Look
have
at that.
to be?
He would still have over $265 billion. What is Look at this is how much $265 billion is. Look at 265. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.00. 100,000 million billion. Oh, wow. We're losing money on the exchange rate again. Wow. That's crazy. But anyways, this is what $265 billion looks like. Imagine being worth that much and being like, yeah, don't tax me anymore. I don't need to pay any more fucking taxes. That's crazy. To live. That's crazy.
Go out there and say, oh, I refuse to go down to 265 billion to make sure that teachers get paid a decent fucking wage and that people can have dental care and to make sure we have universal child care. That's how selfish you are? That tiny tax would solve so many problems for so many people. No, I don't want to do that. What a fucking disgusting man. Oh my god. I'm sorry, bro. They need to be brought to fucking heel. Do you understand that? We're in a new robber baron era. These motherfuckers are way too high in their own supply. They're way too powerful. They need to be brought to heel by the American people. Like, hey, bitch, you only exist in this country and get to, be as wealthy and powerful as you are because we allow you to, within the rules and the guidelines and the parameters that we say are okay. I'm tired of living in a country where 600,000 people are homeless, but this motherfucker's got over $250 billion, and motherfucking Elon Musk, with the IQ of an orangutan, is about to be worth $1 trillion? Get the fuck out of here.
So you can't connect those two things, not logically.
Why would you say such a thing that's so obviously untrue?
You know, there are more examples. Why is rent expensive? Why is rent so expensive? I recently saw somebody blamed it on Airbnb. Okay, Airbnb is not the cause of expensive rent. In fact, it's been almost, let me finish here 1 sec. It's already...
Airbnbs buy up property, and that creates a higher demand for properties, higher demand, higher costs. Airbnbs bring up the price of rent.
Already been outlawed in New York City, and rents are still very high. So we know Airbnb isn't causing high rents. What's really causing high rent is government intervention.
Oh my, oh no, oh he's a...
It's more government regulation. Government regulation is the reason rent has gone up from $600 for a one bedroom to $1,200. That's what it is.
Classic libertarian, bro. Oh, kill me. Meanwhile, Zoran's out there like, hey, we did this policy called freezing the rent. And you know what it's going to do? It's going to freeze the rent. Go ahead, tell me, big brain man, about how actually that's not the way you freeze the rent by freezing the rent. The way you do that is by empowering the free marketplace, and the marketplace will fix it and gotta get the government out of the way, and then magically, with my unfettered capitalist fairy dust, all of a sudden everything will be less expensive, even though it's actually gonna be more expensive. Fuck you. Fuck you. Grown-ass man fucking taking steroids and dating that weirdo that he's married to, or like...
Look at this. Warehouse in Surprise, Arizona, valued at $12 million, sold to DHS for $70 million. Christy Neome bought a warehouse for $70 million that was worth $12 million. That right there is corruption. And I was actually gonna maybe here. I'll ask Gemini if he can do it.
God, he's just so gross. All right, final one here. Now, he's going to talk about income and wealth inequality. This is Rich.
I think what's going on is that it's kind of a tale of two economies.
Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. The guy who just said, don't raise my taxes, is now going, turns out there's like a tale of two economies, bro. Do you guys believe this? I see like a lot of people with not that much money, bro. Who did this? Who did this? Fuck you. How are these people real?
You have a bunch of people in this country who are doing really well, but you also have a bunch of people in this country who are struggling to pay rent, groceries, And so, what's happening here is politicians are using the kind of age-old technique. So there's this tale of two economies, and they're using this age-old technique of picking a villain and pointing fingers.
You just admitted that it's true. You just admitted there's a tale of two economies, and some people are struggling. There's the haves and the have-nots. And by the way, I wish politicians were going, yeah, it's the billionaires. They're the problem, because you are the fucking problem. But they're not. Not nearly enough of them are saying the right thing. Bernie is, AOC is. There's like some that are. Abdul El Sayed, Graham Platter, they'll say it. But most are not. But he just goes, oh, don't say that. It happens to be true. I mean, false. Definitely don't blame me. Like, fuck you. It is your fault. It is your fault, 100%.
But the problem is that doesn't solve anything. And so, like, if you want to help the group of people who are struggling, you have to figure out real root causes and solutions, and that takes skill.
Here's the thing. It actually does solve things. You cannot solve something until you first diagnose the problem. If the answer is chemotherapy, you have to know, well, it's cancer. They have cancer. We found the problem. The solution is the chemotherapy, right? So the billionaires are the problem. Capitalism is the problem. Massive income and wealth inequality is the problem. The solution is fucking taxing your ass and redistributing that and giving people healthcare and giving people education and giving people social housing and giving people higher wages and giving people free childcare and giving people paid vacation time. Okay? Wiping out the medical debt, wiping out the student loan debt, giving people a chance, doing what FDR did when he said, I welcome their hatred. I welcome the hatred of the economic royalists on Wall Street. Okay? They hate me and I welcome their fucking hatred. Why? Because they're the fucking problem. Don't give me this like, oh, it wouldn't solve anything. Really? Doesn't solve anything by pointing out the problem and then addressing it? In this country, the bottom 80% of Americans only hold 7% of the wealth. Okay? There was a RAND study that proved that the top 1% stole $80 trillion from the bottom 90% of Americans since 1974. So, in other words, if we just had the same wealth distribution we had in the 1970s, every man, woman, and child in America would have an extra $1,144 per month every month for the rest of their life until they die. That's just if we had the same wealth distribution as 1974. Don't tell me the problem isn't billionaires and wealth inequality. It 100% is. You guys rigged the system. You guys destroyed unions. You guys cut taxes for yourself while raising it on working people. You guys took a tremendous number of government subsidies. That's how Elon got $38 billion to make a whole bunch of rockets blow up in space. Okay? You are the problem. You guys loot the treasury on a regular basis, whereas working people, now their fucking Medicaid's getting cut. They're getting kicked off their health care, 18 million of them. There's over 700 hospitals closing in this country because all the money is being suctioned up by you idiots, by you assholes. And then you think you're fucking God's gift to Earth and you're special and everybody should hear your fucking thoughts. No, you're not. You're swarming of fascists from the back. You're a sad, pathetic excuse of a man. And the number one thing we should do is rein your ass in. Get your ass under control the second we take power. All the billionaires need to take a fucking haircut. Need to pay that fucking tax bill. And we take that money and we give people healthcare, we give people education, we give people social housing, we give people a chance at a decent life. No more of this shit.
For the record, my tax policy would be increasing taxes not only on the wealthy but also on regular people. But it's really just a trade. Instead of paying for both a Medicare tax and your health insurance, you just pay a Medicare tax.
Shit. No more of this shit. So, humiliating. He should have never said anything. He should have shut the fuck up. He should have stayed hiding because, you just made yourself even more hateable, which I didn't realize was possible. That's the show, y'all. That is the show. You know I love you, as always. You guys know the deal. Everybody subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon. You can also support the show on Patreon, support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack, and, of course, go sub to Corn's World as well. Come hang out with us on Monday nights. All right. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.
Pro extended. Go.
America first, it's always been a bit of a scam.
Okay, and while they're saying don't tax us more, while they're saying no, don't worry about how much money we're making, while they're saying that, Trump is literally manipulating the market, the stock trading market, and making billions off of it.
How the hell are you going to stand at the podium in the press briefing room as Vice President of the United States and defend Donald Trump's stock trading while simultaneously saying that members of Congress should be banned from trading stock as well, which I happen to agree with.
How can you and your administration argue to Americans that you're cleaning up corruption, you're preventing fraud, you're fighting the sorts of things that harm people and people's financial situations, when the president seems to be talking up stocks that he owns, selling them, and enriching himself?
The president doesn't sit at the Oval Office on his computer on his Robinhood account buying and selling stocks. That's absurd. He has independent wealth advisors who manage his money. He is a wealthy person. He has had success in business. He's not making these stock trades himself. And your question imputes that. It doesn't say it exactly, but a reasonable person listening to that question would assume the president is sitting around and doing that. He's not. Second of all, you're right. I am a big fan of banning members of Congress from trading stocks. So is the president of the United States. All of us believe that nobody should be taking proprietary information gained from public service and buying and selling stocks. We want to ban that. We want to ban that process. And I think the way to lead by example is banning that process, banning that approach, and making it illegal, which is exactly what the president has proposed doing.
Leading by example would be to stop having his money trade stocks. Yeah, he's not sitting on his Robinhood account making them personally. But do you honestly expect us to believe that Donald Trump isn't on the phone with somebody going, this is what's happening, this is what needs to be moving? You honestly expect us to believe that, given the inside information that Donald Trump has, given the accuracy with which these trades are made, right? Or do you completely overlook the fact that Donald Trump, as president of the United States, puts his thumb on the scale in one way or another? I mean, come on, JD. I think that fucking eyeliner's going to your brain. We're not that fucking dumb. I was born at night, but it wasn't last fucking night, man.
Hey! Exactly.
Donald Trump is influencing how his money buys and sells stocks. And he's influencing it based on his decisions and his actions as president of the United States. You want to lead by example when it comes to banning stock trading in Congress? Then the president must give up what he's doing right now. He must do what every other president has done. He must stop profiting from the presidency. But he's not going to do that. And you know he's not going to do that. Mm-hmm. He wants other people not to be able to profit with information that they have, and they shouldn't, and neither should he. What's going on is highly corrupt and highly illegal. If any Democratic president did 1/1,000,000th of what Donald Trump has been doing, you would be screaming for his head.
Exactly.
Shapiro's DailyWire, the propaganda arm of the MAGA movement, has just quit his job. Ben Shapiro is crashing out online as his media empire collapses around him, and the Republican Party does not know what to do to save their special boy. It's embarrassing and revealing of just how broken the Republican Party and the MAGA movement is. Let's dive in and expose what the hell is going on at the Daily Wire. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Be sure to engage with this video. Help us to continue to build an independent media company that can expose these MAGA hacks like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. So let's start here with reading the statement from the Daily Wire's now former CEO announcing that he's moving on. Quote, statement from Caleb Robinson. Stepping down as CEO of Daily Wire effective immediately. My new title is guy on the board who still owns a lot of the company. Pay cut in stress, raise in the important things. Handing the keys to Mike Richards. No, not that Mike Richards. Yes, that Mike Richards. 5-time Emmy winner, Hollywood expat. Eats, sleeps, and drinks content. Never makes a deal until the price is right. Built something special here over a decade. We're the largest and most impactful digital media company for people who love this amazing country. And now we make it even bigger. Thank you to our audience of millions. Yes, millions. This is a very, very strange resignation letter. And it is written much like all of the Daily Wire's content by people who think that they are cool when they are actually just absolute losers that nobody stands. And the Daily Wire has been bleeding subscribers across multiple platforms. Ben Shapiro's videos on YouTube are not performing well. They have been burning capital trying to boost these documentaries that Matt Walsh is doing. They tried to launch a fantasy series. They were trying to create their own Hollywood movies. They've been in a bad state for quite a while, particularly while Ben Shapiro continues to have his nose firmly pressed up Donald Trump's ass as the president of the United States continues to become more unpopular while simultaneously destroying this country. And they've laid off an estimated somewhere between 30 to 50% of their staff. Now, Ben Shapiro is saying that it's less, but the more you learn about this situation at the Daily Wire, and you can watch the other videos I've shot covering this scandal, you find out that this company has been an absolute mess. And part of the reason that they are bleeding subscribers and bleeding influence and losing money and losing staff is because they have some really, really bad takes and just some awful, disingenuous content. And I want to show you one example of that because this is Michael Knowles. He's one of the flagship influencers for the Daily Wire. I've debated him before. He has a show that he does in Nashville called Bar Fight. You may have seen it on our YouTube channel where I debated with him about Epstein, and he was completely unable to admit that Donald Trump is covering up for pedos in the Epstein files. But here he is reacting to this week's election in Kentucky where Trump got Thomas Massey basically kicked out of Congress and kicked out of the Republican Party. Watch this smug, arrogant, disingenuous take, and you tell me.
Yeah, and it's so fucked. Thomas Massey, probably the only man in the Republican Party who is like, yeah, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you are part of a child sex trafficking ring, I am not going to allow you to slip from justice. The Republican Party as it stands is a pro-pedo party, all right? That's like 110%. That's what they're doing now, is just protecting pedos. Now, the only Republican who stood up and against them ran for re-election, and he got primaried, and Trump and Israel poured $15 million to get him to for him to lose. They're kicking him out of the party. Oh my god, so crazy.
In the comments below, why you think subscribers are leaving the Daily Wire in mass.
The big Massey supporters are going to blame 2 or 3 big forces if he does go down tonight. 1, they're going to blame Trump because Trump singled him out for removal. 2, they're going to blame the pro-Israel donors because Thomas Massey has opposed aid to Israel in certain cases, and a lot of pro-Israel donors are pouring money to remove him from office. But I don't think that totally explains it.
Stop right there for a second, because it's not that they're just pouring in some money to defeat Thomas Massey. They literally broke the record for the most amount of money ever spent in a primary in this Kentucky race for Thomas Massey for a guy, Ed Gowron, who's going to be the new congressman from that district, who nobody'd ever heard of before. That guy came out of nowhere. He wasn't a local elected official. He wasn't somebody who lived in the district. They plucked him out of obscurity because Donald Trump was mad at Thomas Massey over the Epstein files cover-up, the war in Iran, and him opposing him on the debt and the deficit and this ridiculous budget that they passed, and he wanted to destroy him, so they just grabbed a rando. The guy is a deep state fake for all we know. It's totally ridiculous, and they spent $35 million. And that $35 million was mostly spent through AIPAC, through Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer and others who are pissed at Thomas Massey. Now, yes, some of the reason they don't like him is because Thomas Massey opposes aid to Israel. He actually opposes generally all foreign aid, which is something that he and I have a strong disagreement with. As you know, I cover Massey a lot on this channel. I don't agree with the guy on a lot, but he does have some principles. But the other reason is also very clearly the Epstein files. Donald Trump told Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, stop investigating the Epstein files. Stop trying to release them. You're going to hurt me. You're going to hurt my friends. Yep. And now they're engaged in one of the worst cover-ups in American history, while simultaneously going on a very public revenge tour against any Republican who stands up against Trump on Epstein. He got Marjorie Taylor Greene to resign, and he got Thomas Massey fired after he stuck around in this race. He says he's going to do the same thing to Lauren Boebert. So what's going on in the country right now, and why can't Michael Knowles and these Daily Wire content creators who have built an impressive business and an impressive operation. I have been into that studio where Michael Knowles is sitting right now. I have seen the operation that they built. It has a lot of impressive things in it, but their takes are so bad and so disconnected from the reality of the MAGA movement that they built, the betrayal that Donald Trump has delivered to these voters, particularly the independent-minded voters who believed Donald Trump was going to actually shake the system up. Even if I never agreed that that was true, that's what they believed was going to happen. They don't understand their own audience anymore, and now people are leaving.
There have been other members of Congress who have opposed Trump at different points over the years in a modest or moderate way. There have been plenty of GOP congressmen who have opposed Israel, who have voted against funding for the state of Israel or extra military or whatever. Trump didn't single them out for removal. Even the super pro-Israel donors didn't dump all the money in to remove them. Obviously, those two factors are at play, but I think what J.D. Vance is saying is the more perceptive observation. In this most recent term, Thomas Massie has voted with the GOP.
They don't want a Democratic Party. They want a fascist party. They want everybody to agree with them all the time and nobody to stand in their way. Oh my Jesus.
77.7% of the time. The median GOP congressman, don't forget, Republicans on Capitol Hill, it's like herding cats. They're very independent. That's generally a strength of the GOP because the Dems are always in lockstep. So when things are working for them, it works really well. And when things aren't working, like in the case of peak wokeness, then it works really, really badly and they get blown out in all the elections. But it is undeniable that Thomas Massie has voted with the GOP much less this recent term than the median GOP congressman.
Let's just stop there. There's only so much of this guy that I can actually listen to before I want to pull my hair out of my head. One, the idea that the Republican Congress is independent-minded from the Trump administration is so laughable. These guys are all robots. They're drones. They do exactly what they're being told by Donald Trump and his political operation. And part of the reason that Trump's been on the warpath recently is because there's been a small handful of Republicans, like Bill Cassidy, who voted against Trump once like 5 years ago, Cornyn, who doesn't agree with Trump procedurally on some things in the Senate, Massey, who doesn't agree with him on the Epstein files, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so Trump is exerting his influence to remind the rest of his caucus who's really in charge of the party. It's a party of one man. That man is Donald Trump. And the Daily Wire rises and falls based on how popular Donald Trump is. When Trump was ascendant in his return to national politics to get back into the White House, the Daily Wire's numbers were good. Now Trump is unpopular, and they can't get away from him. And their numbers are declining because in these moments when the president of the United States, when their king, their daddy, their backer is this unpopular, it makes them look like hacks when they're selling.
Honestly, that is a really nice set. Like, they built this whole ass set for this guy. Like, that's way too much money, alright? He's probably making too much money. But alright, let's go on. Let's check on the economy. Oh, Chris. You get some sun, Chris. I want to get some sun,
way
too.
To keep track what's going on within Hormuz, right? 103 ships down. So that means we're still nowhere near back to where we need to be normalized. And even if we normalize shipping today, I'm sure you know it's going to take months, if not a year or more, to get back to normal. That's even if we got back today. So at the moment, again, 103 ships down. It's an easy way to track. Then you got oil prices up, gas prices up. Everything's expensive.
Let me do my push-ups and get
I want to show you this regarding everything's expensive. This was some crazy crap. People were sharing prices of various items in USA. And I guess someone's in a Walmart here. I thought this was a joke, but it was like a compilation video of whacked out stuff that people are seeing in the store. Is this real, guys? $58 for a lemon?
It's definitely not real.
Like, what? It's okay. There's no way I'm buying a $58 lemon. And I was going through this stuff, and I was like, no, I think this is kind of real because people, and there's a lot of swearing in this stuff. Really like people are talking about cheese at like $7, like slices of cheese. Yeah, that is too much. I need to get out of the U.S. This person's talking about, what was that? $30 for basically meat. Yeah, he's shaking their head. And then this person was saying that like toilet paper, $33. That's too much. And you said can't even afford a crap in USA. So expensive, $10.89 for nothing. And I just want you to see, like, these are the experiences that people have been posting. I haven't seen some of these things before. $14 watermelons. Everything's insane. Everything's insane. So we can enjoy that. Eggs, so this would be more the organic ones. $17.49. Okay, so full disclosure, I've never paid that much for eggs. That's no. No. that's nuts. That's nuts. And that's probably like a Whole Foods kind of thing, I would assume. This person's saying they went to the store, bread and eggs, $10. So you're barely buying anything at all, essentially. Yeah, just bread and eggs at $10. So probably I bet you there it's your bread, what, 3, your eggs are 7. I can see that. I know how much stuff costs, but it's ridiculous. And this person's like, I found ground beef. Why is it $30? Right? And this is what regular people are feeling. $40 for this fruit thing. This is supposed to be a value pack. Come on. You can see this fruit mix a value pack, quote value pack. And then it's like, I think the unit price is $10.49 a pound. So it must be 4 pounds or something like that. $40 of fruit. It's a lot. Stuff's expensive. And then cereal at $6.29. But cereal's been expensive for a while though. Well, the cheaper ones are $2.89. Then you got like $7-8. But it's always good, guys, just to talk about what, actual people are paying. So yeah, that would be the cheapest one, would be like $2 or something like that. Let's listen to how Trump voters reacted to the current state. Listen to this.
The current state of the economy is kicking my ass. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like my fiance and I just work. We work and work and work and work just to pay bills, just to afford the house we have, to afford groceries, to make sure that everyone is comfortable. And it's a lot. It is a lot. And you guys can say, oh, the economy is great. Y'all, again, I voted for the current president. The economy is not great. I don't care what you're saying. Groceries have gone up exponentially. And I can say specific items because I buy the same specific items when I go to the store. I buy the same fries milk, same fries bread, same fries this, that, and the other. And there's no reason for it to be increased, right? Gas. Oh my God. Gas is so unaffordable. And to get to work, you obviously have to buy the gas to get there. And that's affordable. And no one's getting raises, no one's getting bonuses. Like, I'm just stressed to the nines. And I don't know if it's just me, but I know 8 years ago when my fiance and I first were dating, we were able to put much more into savings. Life was much more affordable. And mind you, we were making less then. So obviously something isn't working.
So as you can see, that was a Trump voter. And at least we're being honest about the stuff, that stuff's expensive. And if anyone tells you that it's not, they're just completely whacked out, lying, or just absolutely disconnected from reality. So there's that. And you have to understand, like, we could actually end this whole thing right now. Trump just says, hey, we're bringing the troops home. Let's try to go back to normal and admit that I'm a total fool for starting this war. He's not going to do that, of course, but I'm just saying this is all him and Israel causing this mess. And
true.
In these kind of videos, when people complain about prices, you've got to bring that stuff up. It should be obvious to anyone watching this stuff.
If we weren't at war, prices would be lower. If we didn't spend $1 trillion on our military, we would have money for Medicare for all.
And this is where we're at. Our headlines today were mixed. Oil prices pull back as investors hope for U.S.-Iran deal. Let's hope so, but it'll change when a tweet. No, really will. Progress in Iran talks undercut, right? So you get mixed messages by divide over uranium and the tolls, okay? So they're trying to work out something. It was been softened up a little bit, but there's some hardline things, or redline, however you want to call it, to where Iran's like, you know what? We need to figure out a way to pay for this war that you caused, Trump, so we're going to do tolls on stuff, and we're keeping our uranium, okay? So there's that. And I want to point this out because this shows you where we are in our markets. This is going to be an underreported story, and I do want you to pay attention to stuff. Like, look for other countries who are doing this, and that is dumping U.S. debt. Turkey, I guess, dumped most of it here. Turkey liquidated almost all U.S. Treasury holdings in March. And so we were talking about Japan may do that. What's China up to? What's Korea up to? And if this continues to be a worldwide phenomenon, you're going to see a lot of more pressure on the bond market and also basically on Americans, because look at this. This is key. Remember, guys, in the last video I told you guys, don't ignore the bond market because we're talking about price of borrowing money, like if you want to buy a house, a car, anything like that. Mortgage rates hit highest since August as war fans inflation, okay? So with inflation high, the Fed's going to probably have to hike. That's what we're looking at to control inflation. When you do that, it's going to slow growth. Okay. Also, when countries are selling off U.S. debt, that's going to put pressure on the bond market, and again, you're going to get higher mortgage rates. Right. All these things are leading that, and you also have the Iran war, which is you have a supply shortage there, right? So higher prices on gas, energy, etc., makes the price of everything go up.
And it's called a triumphal arc. It's usually done for victories in war and things. There are 59 of them in the world.
What?
And some are really beautiful. And we're the only major, Washington, D.C., which should be number one. We're the only important and major city that does.
Look at this guy's beer belly and fucking Audi.
Doesn't have one. We don't have a triumphal arc. So it was meant to be built for many years. The circle going up to the bridge, it was, people pass that circle, they say, why isn't something?
Look it, there's a bunch of cool shit to go to Washington, D.C. and see. We don't need to waste no monies. We are literally about to hit the $40 trillion mark. I think we actually did hit the $40 trillion debt mark.
They built here, and so that's very good. We just got approval from Fine Arts. That's fantastic.
Right, but you need Congress to sign off on it.
No, we don't. No, we're doing it. It's the land is owned by the Interior Department. We don't need anything from Congress.
Are you
He doesn't need Congress to use your money to build an arch. It's a fucking arch, an archway. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus.
He'd like me to go, but it's going to be just a small little private affair, and I'm going to try and make it. I'm in the midst. I said, you know, this is not good timing for me. I have a thing called Iran and other things. That's one I can't win on.
Wait, what? And we're talking about that we can't win, talking about kids' weddings, and I guess we want to build your arc thing there, right? Great. He's all over the map. It's completely whacked out. And then I guess lately he's been sleeping through meetings, which is he's saying he does it all the time. You can see it right here.
This chart to your far right. Today's actions are saving over $2.4 billion for American families. It's safeguarding 350,000 jobs. Just in supermarkets alone, we're going to see a savings of $800 million.
Okay, so as this guy's talking about savings and we're all awesome, the economy's great, oh, wow, fantastic. You actually do see Trump
Go
goes
to
off
sleep
here.
forever, Donnie.
I'm just showing you guys this.
Fucking bitch. Literally making the world worse. Every single day. Every single day, he's the president. The world is worse off. Every single day, Netanyahu is whatever the fuck he is in Israel. The world is worse off.
For yourself with your own eyes. So Trump's got this war, right? He's saying he can't win or whatever, and he's sleeping through meetings. And so this is the dude that basically doesn't care about regular people whatsoever. You just have to
AI. Oh, I have to block you. You AI. Fucking. How do I? Okay, here we go.
Let me show you this.
And
this
then
another,
we need
American
to time out. No,
about
ban
situation.
you
Somebody
from
really
ever saying Quint Occasion XPR from offering me AI viewers. Fuck off.
This was going on during Joe Biden too, and it was going on before Joe Biden, during the first Trump administration, and even during Barack Obama. Even in the Clinton years, the prices versus the wages. The prices versus the wages. The rent versus the wages. The mortgages versus the wages. Home equity. You can't travel, you can't buy, and I'm talking to you if you're middle class or lower than that. You can't vacation, you can't have kids, you can't save money, you can't have a good attitude. And at what point are you just going to be working full time and you can't save one penny if it even exists anymore? Are we going to stand up to the government and demand more because they shut the government down and still make money and they get paid when they're not even working? And we suffer and we suffer and we suffer. And we are the most passive. We're passive. Americans, you're all passive. You're middle class. You can't afford a home. You can't afford a vacation. You can't pay your mortgage. You can't get a new car. You can't afford hot water or heat or electricity. You're passive because you won't stand up to the government. You won't. Nobody's out on the streets marching about these prices, and these prices are not changing. And again, this isn't to.
Bro, we can't take off work. We cannot take a day off. We cannot. Let me see. I'm like at 39 times 8. Lose $150 to $300 to go protest because they're not listening. They are not listening, my guy. This is part of the fucking plan. In November, the mask is gonna come off, and everyone be like, "Damn, we probably should have protested." It's like, yeah, we probably should have, but here we are, literally on the brink of financial ruin because of a fucking pedo in there. Wow. This is what it is.
To bash Trump. This is to bash the American dream. It ain't a dream. It's a nightmare.
I don't know if this person's a Trump voter or not, right? I'm gonna kind of leaning towards he probably is because they can feel like I don't want to blame Trump, but kind of feel like Trump. But I'm just gonna blame everyone, right? That's how I read it. I like to hear your guys' thoughts on that one. But I do want to address some of the things that he's mentioning. So one is you just can't have fun in USA. Many people are struggling, and it just feels like all you do is work essentially, right? And it's been trending this way for a long time, where wages aren't keeping up with the cost of things, right? It's just what it is. It's a K-shaped economy. Rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And if you watch my channel, I regularly talk about, okay, this is where the corruption is. This is why people like Elon Musk abuse the system, etc. Just understand the
welfare
system,
queens.
Just, hey,
welfare queens.
Say, oh, it's all the government. Everyone's blaming it. Like you have to understand what's going on, okay? And any election, or whatever, you have a choice. Is like, okay, do you want to go in the right direction or the wrong direction? And I always make this 100% clear. You're never going to find someone that you're going to 100% like. It's just a reality, okay? And we're all human beings, and no one's perfect. Also, reality. No one's perfect in this stuff. But you can at least go in the right direction. And this particular last election really, really threw us off. And we're seeing the kind of opening of long wounds, and it becomes painfully obvious with the daily lies that Trump says on it. Like, just like it's daily. I can't even keep track of all of them. And this war of Iran, which is like completely illegal. And so when he's complaining that people don't stand up, but it's wrong though. People do stand up. If you look at the whole No Kings protest, it's going all over the country, and it's like, I guess this person's completely ignoring that kind of stuff. So that's what made me think like probably a Trump voter, acting like no one ever talks about said issues. And it's frustrating because I wanted to talk to these kind of people. I think this person's name's Todd, just like a normal person, right? Like I hear you, I'm listening. I can see that things are really, really tough, and let's find solutions for regular people and just talk like human beings about this stuff.
Yeah.
And so what's so frustrating about it is
I have a tax plan. I have policy that will help the American people. That helps the economy, that helps the debt. It protects the middle class and lower class. Like, Trump's plan helps nobody but the billionaires, and the billionaires are laying off people because they're hiring AI and bots. So, yeah, that's
acting like
that's the leader of our nation. The leader of our nation is making stock trades and then pumping up the business that they've just bought stock in, or giving that business a government contract, deregulating pollution, deregulating how our water is clean, or if our water is clean or not, what the corporations can put into our water, deregulating that shit. My tax policy, my initiatives are like Medicare for all, increased taxes on the super wealthy, increased taxes on mega churches, and then in exchange we get Medicare for all, we get $75,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. We get community college. We get free pre-K and kindergarten. We get raise increases for teachers. That's what my plan does. Trump's plan? How has Trump's plan helped us at all? Oh, and my plan takes care of the debt. Like in 10 years, the debt will go from 30 trillion. Well, now it's 40 trillion, so it'll go from 40 trillion to 20 trillion, something along those lines. And then some. Once it gets to 20 trillion, some of those taxes in my plan go away. So like this. Oh, he's doing the best he can. Like no, that's a lie. If he's doing the best he can, this would be the best plan. Any plan, not any plan, but. There are so many ways we could have gone about this, and him, and everything would be a lot better.
There's no
like Kamala's plan would have been a lot better than what's happening right now.
Out there that ever talks about these things, okay? And I just want to just share my thoughts on this stuff because people do. I do every day on the channel, and I think these kind of people just don't know. They don't know. They don't watch. They don't care. Whatever. And they just get angry all the time. And I understand that, and how many American people feel, and so it's like right now, so many Americans are so angry and upset. Like it's just everyone's emotional like nonstop, and they're not willing to look like outside of the box and think about okay, what if we chose people to lead the country that maybe look different than you, talk a little bit different than you, but in fact have much more in common with you than you may realize. And it's frustrating for me as an American. Sometimes people say, Chris, why don't you run? I'm just telling you the truth, guys. I'm Asian American. Some of these people out there, like Trump voters, who I'll be also just blunt with you, who are white, they could never imagine someone non-white could actually share experiences the same. I know what it means to work. I know what it means to struggle, and I know what it means to live in USA like this.
I feel that, yeah. He's a millennial like me who been through some shit. Like, he knows what it is. Like, I'm so happy that he's made, like, a financial life for himself and his family. Like, and he's happy and he's able to make these videos. And I'm happy that, he has 400,000 subscribers, that he can make a little bit of money and do a little bit extra for his family. Like, it really speaks volumes that even though his life is fucking great, he's out here still saying like, no, like, people are struggling right now. Like 10 years ago, if gas was $5 a gallon, if I was making, what was I making 10 years ago? 10 years ago, 2016, I was just graduating. Yeah, I was making like I think I was making like $18 an hour, maybe $16 an hour. And imagine making $16 an hour. Oh my gosh. 2 hours of work to fucking fill up my gas tank. How much? Alright. I paid $60 in groceries today, divided by, and that was like a not even like a normal, that one was like a fucking half of my grocery order normally. So 16, 3.5, almost 3 3/4 hours of work to buy my groceries today. Oh my Jesus.
I really know. I did all sorts of jobs. I always say the same thing. I tell you the truth. I baled hay when I was a kid. I picked berries when I was a kid. I worked in construction. I worked all my whole life. I had to work all the way through college.
Yo sé.
Worked in deli.
Yo sé.
And you know, I know exactly how hard it is in USA. It's hard, and it just keeps getting worse. And what's frustrating for me is, you know, most of the stuff you can see on YouTube is just anger stuff, anger this, rage-attainment, however you want to call it, anger-tainment, and it doesn't talk about the real situations with the economy. And so you have to just understand all together, inflation is really bad. Lack of you know, trust in the USA is destroying everything right now, and Trump is just really opening up wounds that are long existing, but pushing us in just the completely wrong direction, and you have to really point that out. And so that's where we're at. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.
He's in the Oval Office, and according to one commentator, he actually became unconscious for a few minutes there. Donald Trump, the oldest president in American history, who doesn't even stand anymore during his press conferences, and had a moment of actually truth, I think, where he was asked about going to his son's wedding, and you will not probably be very shocked by what he said. Maybe you won't be surprised, but I still think it's quite shocking what he said about his child's wedding. Now, Donald Trump was there because he is putting an end to Biden-era regulations that he calls a mess. Then I got a quick fact check on that sort of stuff. Here's this.
We're committed to fixing and really completely ending Biden's disastrous regulatory policies and delivering financial relief to each and every American, which is what we're doing. This was a tremendous burden, a tremendous cost. These people had to live with it. Not only refrigerants, but a lot more. And it was making the equipment unaffordable. And the actual benefit was nothing. It just made it worse.
Not so fast. Donald Trump, this is according to Fact Post News, which is a DNC run account, says the following. The Trump administration actually is removing restrictions on hydrofluorocarbons, greenhouse gases, widely regarded as super pollutants. 190 countries have banned or restricted them, but not us, not anymore. So I don't know what he's saying about it didn't do anything. Do you want super pollutants in your air? Well, that's what the Trump administration just did, and they put a whole magnifying glass on it, a spotlight on it, because they had a whole press conference about how they're polluting our air. So we need to actually double click on that and remind ourselves that the things that Donald Trump is actually getting done is destroying things. It's easy to do things when you're actually just destroying stuff.
Yeah.
And the things
when you don't give a fuck. When your whole point is let's make as much fucking money as we can before anybody can stop us. Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
Are the things that keep us safe. Super pollutants, money for fighting Ebola, turns out super useful. So let's just remind ourselves that Donald Trump isn't doing much, and the things that he is accomplishing actually is just destroying things put in place to help us. Now, Donald Trump was asked about the fact that Republicans are truly, for the first time ever, not in his control. Watch this.
Are you losing control of the Senate Republican?
I don't know. I really don't know. I can tell you, I only do what's right. I don't need money for the ballroom. You're not making a gift of the ballroom. This is the biggest misreporting that I've ever seen. The ballroom is being built. It'll cost. It was going to be $200 million. I doubled the size of it because we need it, and it's being done in conjunction with the military.
He says it like it's no fucking big deal. It was supposed to be $200 million. Now it's $1 billion. It's doubled in size though. Like, oh yeah, that fucking makes sense. Double the size. So yeah, you fucking quadruple the price, more than quadruple the price. Sequential divide. Fuck, I don't know what the word for that is. But anyways, yeah. 5 times the price?
Very much in conjunction with the military and Secret Service.
Now, what's interesting is that...
Bunker. He's building a fucking bunker. He's building a bunker.
He has lost control of the Senate and Senate Republicans because the Senate is actually it was just came out, is now leaving until June, and they haven't finished the bill, a reconciliation bill. John Thune, who is the Senate Majority Leader, told senators to go home, and it's all because of the Department of Justice Weaponization Fund, and the House is actually expected to follow suit. So the Senate is not on board with everything Donald Trump is doing. Good. I think they're probably kind of pissed off that one of their own was primaried by a Trump-backed Senate candidate in Louisiana. And so now Republicans are trying to do payback. And I say, let them fight. Let them fight. And truly, the weaponization fund is insane. And I just really hope that we can put politics aside and maybe just say, as a country, as Americans, we don't want to use tax dollars to give money to people who try to overthrow our government, who attacked police officers, who rioted at the Capitol. Maybe we can all agree on that. Sounds like
taxpayer money going to them, bro. Whose idea was that, bro? Well, we know whose idea it was. It was fucking Trump. Because what precipitated that was Trump suing the IRS for somebody leaking his tax returns, and him suing the IRS for $10 billion for somebody leaking his tax returns, which, by the way, every other fucking president has done. It was like standard fucking practice. It's like, okay, like if you want to be president, you have to release your tax returns, you have to release your medical files, because we need to know. And then Trump said, nope, not gonna do that. And people just accept it. They're like, oh yeah, fucking trust that guy. We're gonna trust that fucking guy. Okay. How fucking stupid. Anywho, so here we are.
Republicans could potentially be on board. Now, Donald Trump in that same presser said that.
Oh yeah. Here we are. Now that he's dropped the lawsuit, and in order for him to drop the lawsuit, the DOJ agreed to create a fund, $1.76 billion, that they can use to pay for people that have been wronged by getting investigated by the federal government. Yep. Bro, I should write a letter and try to claim some money.
Beef is coming down. Prices are coming down. But as you can see here, not true. This man loves to lie. Now, he was also asked about the fact that, about the Supreme Court ruling on birthright citizenship, because he wrote on a piece of paper, birthright citizenship isn't true. And it's like, sorry, what you write down on a piece of paper doesn't override the Constitution. And so here's what he had to say about that.
Now we have another one coming up, birthright citizenship. It would be a disgrace. It would be a disgrace if the Supreme Court of the United States allows that to happen. Remember what I said, 20 to 25% of the people coming into our country will come in through birthright citizenship. They'll become citizens through birthright citizenship, and it'll cost us.
So do your kids that you have in the United States. That's how that works. It's like if you have a baby in the United States, they were born in the United States, so they're citizens of the United States. That's just simple shit. That's just simple things that we can all say, like, yeah, that makes sense. If you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen. Like, why is that fucking controversial?
Numbers that are, I don't even think they're doable. And it's all up to a couple of people. And I hope they do what's right.
It's going to cost us numbers that I don't even think are doable. It's the president. It's the president of the United States just talking nonsense. Well, anyways, the Supreme Court is actually expected to rule against that. Good, as they should. Now, as I said, one commentator said that Donald Trump literally lost consciousness on live TV, and here's a bit of that.
Who wanted to be able to fix their equipment were instead being required to buy far more costly new equipment, and that just doesn't make any sense.
Can we just 25th Amendment? Hello? Can we 25th Amendment? This is not normal. We have a pedophile, rapist president who tried to overthrow our democracy, who is taking all of our money to fund his insane projects that have no benefit to the American people. He's grifting us, he's making money from our tax dollars, and he's using our tax dollars to pay enemies of the country. And I'm sorry, if you try to overthrow our government, you're an enemy of the country. You're a traitor. So Donald Trump, can we just put him in a home and tell him that he's still in the White House? We can make it look like the Oval Office. I'm not sure he'd be able to tell the difference. But truly, the 25th Amendment was made for this moment. And yet, we are stuck with him. I guess at least, Republicans are beginning to somewhat push back, if reporting is to be believed. Now, Donald Trump was also threatened our democracy yet again.
On the last election, on why you wanted Democrats lost. One thing that it mentions is how they failed to reach Middle America, Southern Americans. Do you think they've learned lessons from that election, and have you seen that report?
I think the elections are so rigged. We have to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it. But we cannot continue to have, and frankly, the Senate and the House, they ought to get together and they ought to pass the Save America Act so that you have a voter ID, and it's so important you have proof of citizenship, little thing like proof of citizenship, and also mail-in voting, which is so critical.
I mean, I don't want them to pass this because I truly think it's anti-democratic. They're just trying to figure out ways in which they could decide who can and cannot vote. But if those were truly the rules, I kind of feel like more Democrats would actually have proof of their citizenship than Republicans in poor red states. So I don't think it's smart of them to go that route. It could actually have a reverse effect, but I don't think they should do that at all. Now, Kyle Kulinski has said yesterday, I'm going to repeat it again, when it comes to the ballroom and everything he's saying about our elections, I just don't think this, as he says, he is 100% planning on not leaving. And I don't even think it's being a conspiracy theorist to start saying this, because the only evidence we have of how Donald Trump acts when he loses an election is what happened in 2020 and 2021. Donald Trump lied and said he won when he lost, and then he tried to overthrow the election through a riot and through fake electors. So it would not surprise me if Donald Trump is trying to figure out a way in which he can stay longer than he is legally and constitutionally allowed to. Now I'm going to end with this. I was going to ask you, are you a parent? Let's say your son, your daughter's getting married. Would you go? Even if you had work that weekend, would you figure out a way to...
No, bro, he has to golf. Why would he worry about going to his kids?
Israel won in Kentucky. They will 100% control their role. Party now. They will not serve America. They will only serve Israel. He's right. He's just right. Yeah, go ahead. Cry about it. And it turns out many of the voters love that It's a cult. And as long as Donald Trump loves that and seemingly there is no reason for him not to love that, they will love it too.
And what was the great crime that Massey committed that gendered so much super PAC money in opposition to him?
Bernie, you're
well,
so old.
He opposed the war in Iran, and so do the vast majority of the American people. He demanded that the Epstein files be opened, which is what the American people have wanted, and he refused. What a crime, what an outrage to be a rubber stamp for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I can't believe how anti-Semitic Bernie Sanders is being, guys. Have you seen that? It can't feel good, right? There's no way it feels good to be defending this thing, this project. It's gone. It also shows, once again, how malleable the American broader electorate is, especially on the right. I mean, they're trying to be so woke. Like, Jew hate is open and brazen in the Democratic Party. Jack says Israel won in Kentucky. They will 100% control the Republican Party now. They will not serve Israel.
True.
He's right. He's just right. Yeah, go ahead. Cry about it. And it turns out many of the voters love that. It's a cult. And as long as Donald Trump loves that, and seemingly there is no reason for him not to love that, They will love it too. It's so funny to act like this is a ridiculous statement to make. Like, oh, wow, look at them. They're hating the Jews. I replied to Jake Topper, supporters of Israel have long opposed Massey, but he lost tonight because President Trump wanted him defeated, and Trump is incredibly popular in his district and in the GOP. I said, why does Trump oppose him? You think his opposition to Israel and Epstein files have something to do with it? What, you think Trump is not in favor of like libertarian principles? Is that what it is, you think? Is that why? Is Thomas Massey pro-trans or something? Is that the reason why Trump opposed him? Or was there another reason that you don't want to say? Nasty business. The bipartisanship continues in the media side, in the commentariat side, in traditional media. And the bipartisanship, to some respect, exists within the political side as well, in the politician side as well. This, once again, presents a unique opportunity for those with the courage to seize it. This shows that the only way that you can actually stop Israel, the only way that you can actually restrain Israel, is if you vote Democrat. The only party that has any allowance. And by the way, the Democratic establishment is fighting tooth and nail against this too. Okay, they don't want this either. But clearly, there's an overwhelming force within the base for the Democrats that is saying enough is enough. We're done with Israel. And that's the only place I see the anti-Zionist movement making gains. Not across the board, mind you. I mean, there's still plenty of issues, but that's where we're at. Trump opposed him in previous primaries too. The main difference is Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer and a bunch of Israel-aligned people spent tens of millions of dollars against him this time. Give me a break, Jake. A year ago, I thought Massey could stick it out as he did previously, but the money spent against him was overwhelming. Most expensive House primary ever.
Hold Republicans accountable, because in that exact race that you're talking about, Chad, Texas 35, Republicans are propping up that person who in any other environment would be disqualifying and would never have the oxygen to be the Democratic nominee.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is what happens when you don't put a decent option. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Harvard-Harris polls early on in the aftermath of October 7 that would ask people between Hamas and Israel who they support. And because there was no Palestinian option, because they wanted to obviously juice the numbers in favor of Israel, so they would like present it as Hamas versus Israel. This was right after October 7. But because there was no Palestinian option, people would inevitably choose Hamas by fairly decent percentages, like 30% choosing Hamas over Israel. That's unbelievable, right? What's happening in the Democratic primaries in Texas is the exact same. If you don't have a smart, dedicated, anti-genocide, anti-Zionist candidate that's running, you're gonna have the kook, the anti-Semitic kook. And people are gonna go, well, I'm pressing the Israel button on this election, and it turns out the Israel button is the anti-Semitic kook. That's it. Not saying that Hamas is the anti-Semitic kook, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Maureen Galindo is, just to be clear.
It's only with potentially $1 million that...
I think that lady's a fucking... The one in Maureen... Yeah. She's running in Texas. Yeah! Texas! Texas is in the news again. Texas Democrat. Oh, she's a Democrat? Oh, shit. Maureen Galindo under fire after saying she can make ICE jail a prison for American Zionists. Damn. I mean... no, I'm just kidding.
Super PACs and...
maybe that's not even the worst thing she said. Maybe she said some other worse things.
Republican PACs could be behind this. They have not said that, but they need to be asked the question. And I don't know why anybody isn't asking them the question, why they can't disavow this individual and why they can't ensure that no funds go to this individual. They are seeking to do this for one simple purpose, and it is because they have a damaged candidate in that race, and they are trying to prop up somebody with baggage who does not speak for House Democrats and does not speak for the Democratic Party. And so we will continue to say that as loud as we can.
Being anti-Israel is not being anti-Semitic. Like, I talked to my Jewish friend today. I was like, he actually, Yahweh or God put me into his thoughts. And he saw the text about on Sunday how we had like a whole ass fucking South Austin was supposed to be shelter in place because some teens stole some guns and were shooting people at random. And so he saw the notification today, and he's like, "Oh, I thought this was from today." And I was like, "No, that was God telling you that you should have texted me on Sunday, and you're thinking about me now. So good, pray for me." Yeah, that's my Jewish friend Mark. I have nothing against Jewish people. I think it's a beautiful religion. I think Orthodox Jewish people are great. I think Israel people who think that they should murder as many Arabs and Palestinians and Lebanese people as they can, and they can expand as much as they want. I think those people are fucking insane. I think maybe we don't align ourselves with those people, right? Maybe it's like a matter of not being friendly with those people, right? That makes sense. I don't need to be friends with Israeli people who first, I mean, I don't even know any Israeli people. Okay? I don't even know any Israeli people. And then secondly, I don't need to be friends with Israeli people who are pro-genocide. Like, that's just like, that's anti-Semitic to me.
Because that's just the reality of the situation. But it's Republicans who are propping up this candidate and making
people in San Antonio in the Democratic Party's primary, I'm sure, would of course pick an anti-Zionist who isn't anti-Semitic over her. But because there isn't one, because the Democratic establishment doesn't put forward that kind of option, that's the only reason why she has any motion. It's 100% correct. That's it. And I think that the Republicans are making a mistake by propping her up, for the record. I will go so far as to say that her anti-Semitic and also like objectively kooky attitude is probably more appealing for the average voter in San Antonio, Texas than anyone that's like a straight line Democrat regardless. She is Marjorie Taylor Blue. She's Marjorie Taylor Blue.
Certain comments and actions that I would characterize as originating on the fringes of either political spectrum, and we need to condemn it in all its shapes or forms. We also have to be careful not to conflate anti-Semitism with those who criticize certain actions of the Netanyahu government.
Oh my God! Just say Israel,
that was so
man.
political.
What the?
That was such a
guys,
good
listen,
fucking political fucking jargon, blaming fucking Israel. Like, I mean, I don't hate it, but we could, yeah, like Hassan's about to say, we could just call it out. Like, yeah, it's Israel, it's Israel's government. Like, I'm cool with the people who are anti-genocide and anti, foreign expansion. I'm cool with those Israelis. I don't know any of them personally. I follow a couple of them on Twitter, but don't scare me. But yeah, we could just call the government of Israel. That's fine.
We need to all come together and say we must not conflate anti-Semitism with very specific foreign policy, not domestic policy decisions of the Benjamin Netanyahu government in between the time period of 2023 versus 2024, not before 2023. If you criticize Benjamin Netanyahu's government before 2023, then that's actually anti-Semitic. Like, what is this? What is this carve out? Just say you can criticize a state, man. It's not special. Every time you guys run this route, people go, why can't you just say it? Like, why can't you just say Israel? Okay, I'm gonna say it anyway. That's the guy who represents PA2 who might leave to run for Senate in 2028. Big Zionist took AIPAC money, Nims, Britton, and Boyle. Yeah, the state of American politics summarized in one image. What the is this? This is the grossest thing I've ever seen. Something about Galindo that we didn't really talk about before is that she's gotten this far because the Republican shadow packed up like 600K to boost her, which I believe is more than all the other candidates. They did the same thing against the progressive firefighter guy in PA7. Might have already talked about that on mobile. Yeah, I did talk about it. The Republicans are doing a Pied Piper strategy because they think she's a weaker candidate. I think they're wrong. I genuinely, sincerely think a like pro-Israel cop that has talked about funding ICE is going to be less exciting, even in a blue wave election for the base, than an absolute kook that is anti-Semitic. Again, the story here has been that a mysterious pact that seems to be a GOP front has been boosting Galindo. Dems keep condemning her. GOP actually dealt with this before, by the way. Yeah, of course. Denounced by his party as a Nazi. Arthur Jones wins GOP congressional primary. I remember.
Okay.
And also, I covered this at the time. He ran unopposed in the Republican primary in Illinois' 3rd congressional district. And here's the...
Tell me ate something he shouldn't have. He's been throwing up a little bit. Go outside. Go outside. Let's go. Take him for a walk, maybe. Let's see if he gets up. 1 sec.
The insane thing, in Illinois, they voted for him. Like in the general, in Illinois, I think it was like a quarter, more than a quarter of the population voted for him too. An actual Nazi, like a part of the American, he was literally I think he was a leader of the American Nazi Party, like Arthur Jones. Let's see his electoral history. Bro has never stopped running. Oh yeah, I was right. 26% of Illinois' 3rd congressional district in the general election voted for Arthur J. Jones. Wow. Anyway.
What have you said to Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strike?
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's very, very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister, and he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. Right now, at 99% in Israel, I could run for prime minister. So maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister.
See?
I had a poll this morning. I'm 90.
He has no intention of not being in power. He wants to always be in power. I mean, yeah, Hitler was like voted in, right? Exactly. Like, he did just take control of the government, and then off they were to a war, and then the concentration camps happening, stuff like that. A lot of stuff behind closed doors. Wow. Watching history repeat itself is really... It's actually like why I paid attention in school. I was like, don't let history repeat itself. Like, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. A lot of the history I learned about was not the greatest. And this is definitely going to be part of the history books. It's like, yeah, the U.S. was not the greatest at this point. It was funny that their slogan was "Make America Great Again." They did not. That did not happen.
99%. So that's good.
Free Palestine!
Oh, wow.
ברוכים הבאים לישראל, אנחנו בעלי הבית. ככה צריך. ישראל חי. ישראל חי.
Okay, so these are all the people who were on the flotilla to the U.S. to Gaza with supplies for Gaza. Wow, they're like, nobody's touching us. Nobody's touching us. Nothing's happening to us. We're making fucking hype videos of us torturing people from other countries, trying to help the basically refugees in Gaza.
No matter what you do, guys, make sure you don't offend people who love that. I just want you to understand that's the most important thing in American politics is to ensure that the people who love this, and I mean love it, okay? Some of them will say it out loud, some of them won't, but make sure you never hurt the feelings in any way, shape, or form of people who love this. I want to make sure that people understand we have to keep funding this, and we have to keep supporting it, and we have to give it emotional support.
Sarcastic. He's being sarcastic.
Because if it offends the sensibilities of people who love this, then you're a bad guy. Netanyahu government, don't you dare say anything outside of some modest criticisms of the Netanyahu government in between 2023 and 2026. Outside of that, you can't really do that. Only within the Gaza territory as well. If Israel's doing stuff in the West Bank, well, then that's a separate conversation. Obviously, we get to set the standards on what you can and can't say about this country. What normal person is gonna hear you say this and go, you know what, you're making a reasonable argument here, sir. I really should second guess myself. No, they're gonna be like, whatever you are, I'm against. You're an animal, okay? Whatever you are for, I am against for the rest of my life. And whatever you say I am, if you're calling my criticisms of this anti-Semitic, then that's true. That's what it is. That's what the average person that sees this feels like. And that's how you arrive at Maureen Galindo, okay? That's it. You cannot create an information environment where you're basically shutting off all normal, reasonable, and critical people and constantly yelling at them and saying that they're anti-Semitic, and then actually utilizing some kind of mechanism of social enforcement to actually advance this notion over and over again, and then expect people not to go, yeah, I am, then you. It's that simple. It's a desperate floundering to pretend this isn't Israel to make Ben-Gvir the sin eater for society that's overwhelmingly endorsed apartheid and genocide. Alan Shatter, you will always have supported and defended this horror, Alan Shatter, and it's all anyone will remember about you. Ben-Gvir is a total disgrace. I've written various articles criticizing his unfitness for the government and his own behavior. Yeah, Ben-Gvir did that on his own, right? The Israeli Foreign Minister Sar condemns Minister of National Security Ben-Gvir in his provocative video, or for his provocative video. Oh, wow. Well, I guess that's what happens in a robust democracy, you know? And no, Megaphonics was joking because he was exaggerating, because he was like, no one is dumb enough to say that. And it turns out, no, people are dumb enough to say it. There's a guy who literally was dumb enough to say it, where it's like, well, this is Ben-Gvir, actually. Yeah, by the way, they're more mad that he's showing it and flexing, okay? Yeah, oh, this is the first video of Ben-Gvir torturing prisoners violently. Good thing this has never happened with him before. Exactly. Oh, man, Chatter. Wait till you find out.
All right, y'all. I'm out. Have a good night. I might be on tomorrow. I'm thinking about staying in all weekend and just doing things around the apartment. I have been filling up my love tank. I have been touching grass. I have been talking to people. I have in real life friends. I have online friends as well. Making plans, seeing people, eating food. So I have been living a good life. I think I need to give a little bit more to the cause, add more content, keep more regular schedule, and try to just keep at it, just so we just beat the algorithms. We need to beat the algorithms. We need to beat the bad opinions. We need to change hearts and minds, and we need to focus on the people. Like, if we just put forth as much effort as they put forth in keeping the Epstein files under wraps, we would be a better country, you know? Like, on my Twitter profile, I just have this AI thing. It's just like, if we did these 30 things, let's see, how many things are there? It's like, I think I can number them real quick. 47, no, damn, like, if we do these 40 things, our economy would be better, our health would be better, our housing would be better. Just 40 things. Anywho, good night, good luck, stay in the fight as much as you can, try to enjoy life as much as you can. I think in November we're gonna have a drastic change in how everybody's living again, and so we're gonna see some shit. But, all right, good night.